Hello students, I welcome you to today's session of physics lecture. We were studying 10th chapter of class 12th in physics, magnetic fields due to electric current. In this chapter, we have studied Ørsted's experiment, how magnetic field is produced due to current carrying conductors, the electrostatic force experienced by charge when it is kept in external electric field, and the magnetic force experienced by the charge when it is kept in external uniform magnetic fields. In this session of physics lecture, we shall be studying Lorentz force, the Fleming's left hand rule, the force experienced by the charge when it is simultaneously made to move through an external uniform electric as well as magnetic fields. So let us begin with the following things. Dear students, in the previous lecture we have studied magnetic force acting on a charge in an external uniform magnetic field. Here I was trying to tell you that the magnetic force Fm experienced by the charge when it moves with velocity v in an external magnetic field of induction B is given by Fm is equal to qvb sine theta. Theta is the angle between velocity and magnetic field. In my first case, I told you that if theta is equal to 90 degrees, that means velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field, then we can say that magnetic force Fm must be equal to qvb, and it is maximum. This is the maximum magnetic force experienced by that charge. If theta, the angle made by the charge velocity with that of magnetic field, if it is 0 or 180 degree, then what happens? From the previous equation, can we say that magnetic force Fm to be equal to 0? Remember, if the charge is moving with velocity v parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field, then it will experience no force. That force is obviously minimum force. Case 3. In third case, instead of changing angle, etc., let me have the charge at rest in the external magnetic field. I mean, the charge is not moving. If velocity is 0, then magnetic force Fm should also be equal to 0. So, the magnetic force experienced by charge not only depends on theta, but also depends whether the charge is moving or is at rest. Magnetic force acting on charge in an external uniform magnetic field. Dear students, as I said, every current carrying wire produces magnetic field around itself. For instance, if I have got this as a current carrying wire, I is the current that is flowing upward, then the direction of magnetic field by right hand rule must be in this manner. Am I right? So I have got certain positions to make out to show you the direction of these magnetic fields. Let me tell you those points as point A, point B, point C, that is back of the wire, and forth of the wire. Remember, if the magnetic field is to the left side, then convention of direction to show is an arrow to the left side. If the magnetic field is towards right, then we can show it by arrow directed rightwards. Magnetic field upwards, magnetic field downwards. But what if the magnetic field is into the screen or into the plane of your notebook page, or it is outside the plane of paper perpendicular to it? Then how should I denote it? The inward direction, if magnetic field or any physical quantity, if it is perpendicular into the plane, then we simply show it by cross mark or cross with circle. If The physical quantity or magnetic field is directed outward perpendicular to plane. Outward but perpendicular to plane, then the convention to show this is a dot or a dot with circle. So remember henceforth, the directions of physical quantity inwards are with cross or cross circle, outward dot or dot circle. So let us understand this particular article by the conventions that I have explained. Let us go for the first case. In this case, what I can see is that the magnetic field B, the black color, dots and B are black in color. That means dots represent B. Okay. The direction of magnetic field is outward, as I have told you. Force, we have to find out, and this is the direction of velocity of this charge Q. This is charge Q, which is positive charge. It is moving with velocity V to the left hand side. This charge is moving with velocity V to the left. Magnetic field is outside. If I try to show that direction in this way, then B is like this. They are mutually perpendicular to each other. Then we know that magnetic force Fm is equal to Q V cross B, right? Here, this is a vector quantity. So I want to find out the direction of this magnetic force. We have studied in vectors chapter of class 11th, the resultant vector of two vectors whose cross product is being taken is found by the right hand rule. So if I use that right hand rule, or you can say right hand screw rule as well. So I should have cross product from V to B, then by right hand rule or right hand screw rule, we can say that the direction of force is upward. Can you see that the direction of force experienced by this positive charge is upward? I hope you have understood. Now my question is, if this charge is negative charge, what should be the direction of force? Will it be same or will it be different? Yes, it should be different. Now, if the charge is negative, then don't you think that the above equation must be written as minus Q because charge is negative? We have got V cross B in the same manner here. V cross B gives us direction upward, but remember, negative of V cross B is in the downward direction. So if the charge is negative, then force then will be in the downward direction. Please understand this. The direction of magnetic force is decided even by the polarity of the charge. Let us go for the second case. In second case, magnetic field is still outward. The charge is negative and is moving with velocity V downward. What should be the direction of force? Do it yourself. Let me explain as well. Here, if this charge would have been positive, then what should be the direction? And the direction of this charge will be opposite to what we have obtained. So here I have got velocity downward, magnetic field outside in this manner, B is outside, say, right? So V cross B, if I have right hand rule, then don't you think force should be this side if this is positive charge? V cross B, right? You have to use right hand rule from V to B. So this should be the direction if the charge is positive, but the charge happens to be negative in this case. Therefore, this is not the direction of force, but it should be opposite to this. So this should be the direction of magnetic force. And I'm sure this is what it has been explained in this case. I will go a little fast in the second case. In third example, we have got again negative charge traveling with velocity V to the right. Magnetic field is upwards and I want to find out the direction of force. Here velocity is to the right, magnetic field is upward, They are mutually perpendicular to each other. V cross B, then don't you think if the charge would have been positive, then the force would have been outside. So it should have been dot circle. Force would have been outside if it would have been a positive charge. But remember here it is a negative charge. So don't you think that the direction is opposite to what we have obtained for positive charge? So it should be into the screen. And this is explained here. Likewise, you can use the knowledge of what I have explained in the first three cases and find out the direction of force for the fourth example. I leave this to you. Lorentz force. What is this Lorentz force? Remember, if I have a charge q moving with velocity v in an external uniform electric as well as magnetic fields simultaneously applied. We can see here in the diagram, I have got electric field as well as magnetic field. These two fields are mutually perpendicular to each other. Here we can see that magnetic field is to the right and electric field is downward. This is B, this is E. We can see here. Now, in the previous lecture, we have seen what would be the effect if charge is moving only in electric field and only in magnetic field. Now, what should happen if both the fields are applied? What should happen if I reverse the direction of electric field? I keep magnetic field this way and I'll do the electric field direction upward. What should happen then? What should be the direction of force? Etc. You can go into detail about it, but let me explain the derivation for this Lorentz force. The Lorentz force F experienced by charge q moving with velocity v in two mutually perpendicular fields, electric field and magnetic field, is given by the sum of electrostatic force and magnetic force Fm. So, if I have a charge q moving with velocity v in an external uniform electric field E and say magnetic field B. If I want to have only the electrostatic force Fe, then we know that it should be equal to QE. Remember, Fe is a vector quantity, so I will give them an arrow. So this is electrostatic force. The magnetic force Fm experienced by this charge must be equal to Q V cross B, right? This we have done in the previous two articles. So the net force which we have mentioned as the Lorentz force, which is nothing but Fe electric force plus magnetic force Fm. So if I make these substitutions, then can I directly write down Q in bracket E plus V cross bracket close bracket close. This is the net force experienced by that charge when is moving through uniform electric field and magnetic fields. The Lorentz force is very important to understand the behavior of materials in case of diamagnetism in magnetic material chapter later. I want you all to observe this video as well. In this video, we can see that a charge q, when fired with velocity v, enters these two mutually perpendicular magnetic fields, then it is deviated from its mean path. And the direction of that force is obviously decided by the sum of or the effect of force due to electric field as well as magnetic field. Magnetic force acting on current carrying conductor kept in an external uniform magnetic field. Remember, whatever we have studied in previous two articles, That is, force experienced by charge when it is moving with velocity in an external uniform magnetic field, F is equal to Q V cross B. We were talking about only charge, but in this article I have got charges moving with certain velocity, but they are within the conductor. So conductor as a whole, will it experience any force? Yes, it will experience force. So on what factors that force depends? Does it depend on length of the rod, density of the charges, the velocity of the charge inside the conductor, magnetic field? Let us understand in this article. Observe this video carefully. We can see that there is a uniform cross-sectional rod of length L and area of cross-section A. The direction of current I is into the screen, which means that electrons are flowing opposite to the direction of flow of current. The rod is kept perpendicular to the magnetic field. Then the velocity of these electrons, which is called as drift velocity, which we have studied in class 11th, the drift velocity Vd is the velocity of these electrons. If n is the free electron per unit volume, number of electrons per unit volume, then total number of charges inside this conductor of length L and area of cross section A will be NaL. These are the number of charges. Total charge held by this conductor must be equal to total number of charges into charge on an individual. If they are electrons, then charge on number of charges or each charge must be minus E. So total charge Q is equal to NaL in bracket minus E, equation 1. So this particular rod of length L and area of cross section A holds this much of charge. We know that this charge is moving in external magnetic field of B with velocity V. So can we say that these charges experiences magnetic force Fm to be equal to Q VdB, equation number 2. Substitute Q from equation 1. Fm therefore is equal to NaL in bracket minus E VdB, equation number 3. So in this case, we have got magnetic force Fm to be equal to this much and is nothing but equation number 3. Now, one more thing. We know that I is equal to Q by T, right? So here you can see that this is the total charge, right? So if I divide this by T, so can we say I is equal to Q? Q is nothing but NaL minus E, right? So divide this by T. So if I take ratio of L by T, don't you think it is nothing but drift velocity Vd? So that is why this equation, remember, can we write down I to be equal to NaL minus E, rather I'm talking about I. So can we say I is nothing but Na in bracket minus E, this is negative charge, into Vd in place of this one. So that is why we have got equation number 4. That is I is equal to Na minus E Vd. So can we finally say that the magnetic force Fm to be equal to ILB? Substitute this I is equal to Na minus E Vd in equation 3, we get magnetic force Fm to be equal to ILB. Its vector form Fm vector is equal to I vector L cross vector B. Very interesting conclusion. Remember, when we were talking about charge Q, moving with velocity v in external magnetic field B, then the magnetic force Fm was given to be equal to q v cross B. But now, when those charges are confined within the conductor of certain length with area of cross section, etc., then this particular rod of certain length which is inside the magnetic field also experiences magnetic force, which is given by equation number 5. Now, as far as equation 5 or its magnitude Fm to be equal to ILB is concerned, then if we are interested to find out the direction of this Fm, then one has to make use of Fleming's left-hand rule, which I have mentioned in my introduction. To find out the direction of Fm, one has to understand Fleming's left-hand rule. Let us do that. Fleming's left-hand rule. Here I have an arrangement in which cell needs to be connected for the current to flow through the conductor. Now, as soon as I pass the current through the conductor, say from right to left, then I'm going to keep this wire portion in external uniform magnetic field. You make an observation here. Now, as soon as the current flows through the conductor, for instance, current is flowing from left to right. Positive charge direction is nothing but the direction of current. The wire is kept in external magnetic field which is produced because of artificial magnet, North Pole and South Pole. Here, if I want to find out the direction of force acting on this wire, then as I said, we have to use Fleming's left-hand rule. What is this Fleming's left-hand rule? You go down to the left corner here. You can see here, if I have first 3 fingers of left hand are mutually perpendicular to each other, I need to hold them mutually perpendicular to each other. Thumb, forefinger and middle finger. Then the forefinger should be in the direction of magnetic field, middle finger should be in the direction of current, then automatically whatever is the direction of thumb is the direction of magnetic force. So let us come to the figure here. You can see that in this case, current is flowing in this direction to the right. Magnetic field is into the screen, say into the screen, we show it by cross circle. B is into the screen, right? Now I have to have middle finger. Can you see here? Middle finger should be in the direction of current. So hold your middle finger. This is your middle finger which is in the direction of current. Yes, this is the direction of this one. This should be the direction of B. Yes, this should be in the direction of B. Then don't you think this is the direction of magnetic force F, or can I say Fm? Yes, this is how one can find out the direction of force acting on the current carrying wires when they are kept in external magnetic fields. Let us make use of what we have studied. Rather, let us make use of the knowledge of finding out direction of force on current carrying conductors in these 2 examples. This will improve your understanding about this article. As we know that the magnetic force Fm is equal to ILB. In vector form, it is given and is written there. Now, in first example, you can see that this is my first example, say. In first example, I have got external magnetic field B from north to south. You can see this. I have got a wire which is carrying current, say I, is kept in this manner. So don't you think this should experience magnetic force Fm there? Use your Fleming's left-hand rule. This is your Fleming's left-hand rule directions as far as fingers are concerned. Then you will see that magnetic field is to the right, B is to the right, current is as shown here. Then use your left hand rule. See here, you can say that the force comes out to be in the
downward direction. Please, one has to understand this very correctly. As far as second case is concerned, in second diagram, I have got three current carrying conductors carrying current I1, I2 and I3 kept in same magnetic field but with different angles. In first case, you can see that current and B are parallel to each other. So don't you think LB sine theta, theta is 0, the current carrying conductor is parallel to that of magnetic field, then don't you think Fm in this case should be equal to 0? In this case, current carrying conductor is anti-parallel to it. Again, Fm needs to be 0. In third case, it is perpendicular to it. It is perpendicular to it. Therefore, Fm needs to be maximum and Fm to be equal to ILB. Now, the question of direction. So, current is in the downward direction, B is to the right. If I use right hand rule, middle finger should be in the downward direction, forefinger should be to the right, and you will see that thumb is pointing outward towards you. That means this should experience force. This should experience force outward. So Fm is nothing but dot. So in this way, we can find out the direction of force using Fleming's left-hand rule.
Dear students, in this lecture we have studied Lorentz force, the force experienced by current carrying conductor when it is kept in an external uniform magnetic field, and then finally we have learned the Fleming's left-hand rule to identify the direction of force acting on current carrying conductor when kept in magnetic field. Thank you.